So okay, HBO has a new series based off a book called The Undoing, starring Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant. So those are big, top
Yeah.
Hollywood actors. So um, you know when their names attached to the project, it's no bullshit. But no, this is I guess this was a popular book. You know, I'm not sure how popular the book was, but I'm pretty sure it's a popular book. It's on HBO Max, so I felt like, oh, okay. And then I was hearing some buzz about it on YouTube, so I was like, okay, let me check this out. And we ended up watching both episode 1 and episode 2, and you'll get more reviews as more episodes come out. But okay, so in this show, it stars Nicole Kidman as a therapist,
Yeah.
and Hugh Grant as a doctor, and they got like the ideal life. They rich. They got a smart son that he's like. I guess he played. I know he played the violin, but I guess he like in a symphony. Well, he
Yeah.
not. I guess he training to be in like
Right,
a
right.
symphony. He's like
There's this
a
whole
big
like
time
perfect like New York upper crust
Yes.
society, high society thing going on throughout this whole setting.
Right. And then when it actually kicks off, it's set up like a rom com, because they got Hugh Grant is like the rom com king from the '90s,
Yeah.
and he was always the leading man, and so it's like I'm thinking like, oh, this is a kind of homage to his old work or whatever, and they doing the whole like side by side them talking to each other on the phone and stuff. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, okay, it's entertaining, but what is this? I'm thinking like, is this gonna be like a funny little show?
Right.
And then that other shoe dropped.
Yeah. And it drops hard.
Yeah. So like we said, we got the couple, Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant, and they got a son, and so another character comes into play. Do you know the actress name?
Matilda D'Angelis.
Okay, I'm gonna let you say that for now.
Okay.
I don't remember her name in the show.
Elena.
Okay, so we got Elena. She comes into the play, and this is the thing, and she's fine.
Very.
Put that out there.
Very.
She's a very attractive
Painfully
young
so.
lady, and basically, like I said, she's Nicole Kidman is a upscale lady living in New York, and the kids go to private school, and they got this little they got a committee where I guess the parents teacher committee or whatever.
Yeah.
It just, when I seen that, I'm like, this is all the little rich snobby.
It's weird, man. Like, as someone who went to a private school, my elementary school was nowhere near on that level.
Yeah.
It costs as much to send their kid to that elementary school as it to send me to high school.
Dude, I mean, yeah. So
This is some crazy stuff.
It's
to me.
it is a uppity, school, and all the people seem kind of uppity.
Oh, yeah.
All the characters, all her friends feel like them, rich snobby kind of people, and so the other lady, she's new to the committee, but she's acting weird.
Yeah.
And then we noticed it right away. She keep on looking at Nicole Kidman character, and it was like, okay, but she kind of looking at her a little too much, and and then they was like, oh yeah, she just had a kid, okay, so she bring her kid there, and then she just kind of like basically she started breastfeeding, and the way that's not a big deal, but the way she did it,
Yeah.
was make you kind of like,
It was a statement.
Yeah.
When you see the moment in the show, she's clearly trying to make a statement. Like she just whips it out and she makes direct eye contact with everyone at that table
right.
as she does it.
But she looked at Nicole Kidman kind of like harder.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you do something like that, and I was hearing some other reviews, they was like, oh, it's not a big deal. She breastfeeding. She's a newborn. It's like, okay, it's not, but
It's not what she's doing.
you
It's
usually
how she's doing.
right.
If she had done that while pouring herself a glass of water, it would have been weird.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you usually kind of excuse yourself, I think, when you do that or whatever, but she was just basically they talking, they having a meeting, and she just whipped her breast out and just started breastfeeding like right in the meeting, and it's fine. It's like okay, it's all women here. It's whatever.
I mean, I would say, and again, like I ain't really got a dog in this race, but I would have thought you would have at least made the point of asking before you did. It's like, hey, are y'all cool with this?
Right, or just like, oh yeah, I need to breastfeed or whatever. Say something or something. She didn't say anything. She just popped the breast out, and they were some nice ones. And I was like, okay. And then they start kind of looking at each other like, what the hell, And plus these rich uppity people too, so
right. Well, like, and that's the thing is like there's a bunch of context there where you already get the idea that she doesn't really belong in this world, at least as far as the way they perceive it.
Yeah.
Like one of them even makes a comment like, you think she could have left the kid with a nanny or something? Right.
So I'm looking. That's exactly what I was thinking because I'm looking at her as like she don't seem like she like rich like them. She seemed like she kind of maybe not poor, but she didn't seem like the same type of person that they were. You know, and so I kind of picked up on that like right away, and so we don't know what this means, but this all leading to something later, and then she also. Somehow, some way, and this is why Nicole Kidman character is kind of dense, because somehow, some way, she end up at the gym she's at, and she don't ask how you at the same. I'm like, oh, you go to this gym too? Yeah, and then she pop up in front of her just butt naked, like she come out. And you in the changing area. Now, okay, she's in the locker room, so people do, they shower, they go change. But usually, when you get out of the shower area, you have a towel on.
Yeah. Also, like, and again, just like with the breastfeeding scene, it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. She's not just casually naked, like sitting there going about her business. She's standing right in front of this woman, like stroking her body, drawing attention to
I'm gonna tell you,
and her crotch is at face height, about less than a foot away.
And not to mention, her body was banging, and it was like. That's almost, to me, I'll take that as an insult because your body way better than my shit. Like, why are you just standing in front of me naked talking, knowing you look good looking at, and then that cameraman said, they was like, all right, let's take a look at, no. I can't move this camera. That cameraman was fixed on her ass.
Yeah, this is true. Male gaze was in this. But, there's this, like, the way they handle this, like her body language, like she's presenting herself like she's the prize behind door number 1 on The Price is Right.
Right.
And then when she finally like stops shoving her crotch in this woman's face, she sits right down next to her, puts her head damn near on her shoulder. Do I make you uncomfortable?
Right. It was obvious to me either she was. I couldn't really read exactly what she was doing because I was like, is she attracted to her, or is she just trying to intimidate her?
Yeah.
It might have been a little of both.
I think so. I think that's what that was the energy I was getting off of her, and I was trying to figure out which way it was going to fall.
Yeah.
We didn't get that far.
Right. And then, so we kind of see, we see this is more like episode 1. So episode 1 is more setup, and it wasn't really too much to happen. We just kind of really get to know the characters, and we know about her friends. We know about her, and then you see her later. They like, and somehow she's also at this fundraiser they having. Like she keep popping up.
Well, like the fundraiser at least made sense,
right? Because her kid go to that school too.
Well, and she's on the committee for the auction at the fundraiser.
But then something I didn't really trip off of. I kind of had to go back. Well, I saw it on the recap where they was like, "Oh man, all those men just." Around her, and then I was like, oh, I didn't notice that. And I look back, I'm like, oh my God, it was like 8 dudes just surrounding her. Yeah. I mean, I know she looked good, but could y'all make it a little less obvious that y'all want her?
Like it was, you know what? It's piranha swarming fresh meat.
That's what it was. Like. And I'm like, I know y'all got wives here. It's like, you might want to holler at her on the slide, but can you be a little more discreet with that?
Like, I will also say, like, one of the things that annoys me watching this show is all of the wives' friends who are like kind of like stereotypical rich, suburbanites.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like everything that they see that they want for themselves, they hate to see with someone else.
Yeah, I
And so
mean,
it's like,
all her friends, they was like I said, they was stuck up kind of
yeah,
people that as like okay, I mean, they seem shallow, all of them, you know,
every last one. It's
right,
like, oh, don't worry about her. She's fine. Look.
right,
You know, it's like, she's clearly uncomfortable with all the attention, but like they don't see how uncomfortable she is.
yeah,
They just see that someone's getting attention and it's not them.
right, and so we see old girl later. She's just like crying her eyes out, and I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on, but this is one of them shows where I think they're going to show, kind of like we gonna see it from one point of view, and then later on they're gonna show it from the other point of view, like why this was that. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to find out later. So I think we'll see more about that night as the season go on.
Right.
You know, because we seeing everything from Nicole Kidman character's point of view, which she don't know nothing. She don't fuck all.
Like, so far, the only character who I don't believe knows less than her, maybe her kid.
No. He know more than she do.
Yeah.
He know more than she do. I guess her head is in the clouds because she feel like her life is so perfect.
Well, she's too close. That's what it is. She's too close to it. So,
and we're gonna talk about what all this means
right.
for the second episode. But in the first episode, this basically, you know, she got this perfect life. Her husband said, "Hey, you know," and this time it was kind of weird that it wasn't weird, but I picked up on something right away. Old girl left, and he's like, "Oh man, I just got a call.
Yeah.
I got to go to the hospital because he's a doctor. I don't know if I mentioned that. Oh, I just got a page. I got to go to the hospital. I got a important patient to look after." She's like, oh yeah, because you so courageous. Go, husband. You know, I'm looking like, yeah. When somebody leave and somebody up and got an emergency, something to do, something's up with that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where they just kind of you know, like I said, you see these people's lives, and you see these characters they develop, and then you think, oh, this is just like a drama rom-com, and then we get at the very end, the stinger is this is a murder mystery.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not really a spoiler saying that the character got murdered because that's like the main plot.
Yeah.
Um,
Murdered is actually kind of putting it lightly. She was destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a brutal murder. It wasn't just like a stab. She got bludgeoned to death, and they don't know what's going on. I mean, they don't know who did it. They don't know why. We don't know anything. All we know is she died, and that was the end of the first episode. So, okay, so we move on to that second episode. This is where if you was like watching that first episode and kind of like, it is, you know, it's okay, whatever. After that murder happened, you got to watch the second episode because you're like, I want to see who did this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I would go so far as to say this show starts the last 5 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, that's when
it was more development
really,
on the people. And to me, it was just shows a lot of Nicole Kidman character just being oblivious of anything but her happy life. And this whole episode 2 is about her waking up.
Yeah. Oh man, and what a wake up call.
Excuse me. So, and this episode is more about the police are investigating. The police are investigating the murder of the lady. So now they asking all the ladies that was in the committee about it. I was kind of wondering why was they kind of pushing them kind of hard. It's like they didn't have nothing to really do with it just because they kind of knew them.
It was weird, like, because they singled them out super hard.
Right.
Like, you would think that there would be, like, friends and family of hers that would be getting it. But
yeah.
Like, they zeroed right in on the rest of the ladies in the committee.
Right. And I was like, why? It's like if somebody get murdered, they just like they go to their job and start coming after people that work there. You know, it's like, I knew her, but I didn't know her. You know, I knew of her.
Well, like the
second
is like, oh, she's been on the committee for like a week and a half.
Right. She ain't even been on the committee long.
So it's like none of us have known her long enough to have a reason to kill her.
Yeah.
Like maybe if it had been a couple months, give us some time. You know.
Right. And then I'm looking like the police. They treated her Nicole Kidman character, kind of like a suspect, like
Yeah.
immediately. And I'm thinking, why are they so quick to treat her like that? Maybe it's the stuff that came out later, but I thought they didn't know this yet.
I had assumed they didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
which made it that much weirder because they came at her like, listen, we already know that your husband is wrapped up in this.
Wait, but I'm talking about before that, when they kind of came to her house and was like,
well, like, because some of the
like every time she asked a
her,
question, it's like, why would you think that? You know what I'm saying?
well,
It
like,
was just that
'cause some of the
old.
questions they were asking her was like,
It's something they asked
Clearly-
somebody that they suspicious
clearly
about.
they had something, but this show has not given us anything,
Right.
any kernel of that. It's like they had some reason to go after her because they. I'm wondering if one of her friends didn't tell him something.
Oh, you know what? So it probably was
Yeah.
stuff that was that we wasn't privy to that the cops knew immediately. You know,
Yeah.
which it didn't make sense to us because we just saw from her point of view.
Right.
From her point of view, it was just a normal life. You know, her husband would go to work every day. He go to work every day, and you know, her kid go to school, and her life is great. And then you come to find out that her husband, she went to, oh, it was so funny. She went to her job, went to her husband's job to ask somebody to work there, like, hey, have you seen, you know, where was he going? And she's like,
I can't talk to you.
dude, it was so funny because, like I said, we from her point of view, everybody was acting so funny to her. And the minute she say, hey, I'm looking for Jonathan. Have you seen him? He's like, look, I'm sorry. I can't answer no questions. I'm not getting involved. I gotta go. And she's like, what?
Nah, I just want to know if you've seen my husband. You know who you work with. I can't talk to you about this.
Right? I'm looking at what the, you know, because like I said, we thinking like her, like what is going on? Like
Yeah.
what, you know? So she can't find her husband, and he left his phone. So that's kind of like he's supposed to have went to a trip, and his phone is at home. She heard it ring, and she's like, what the hell? So she's trying to find him. She's like, I can't find him. Where he at? Can't find him. Anyway, and it's funny because every time she goes somewhere where he's supposed to be, it's like, that he ain't been here in 2 months. Like, what? It's like, how does she not know any of this? That's what kind of blew my mind.
Well, like I think this is one of the things that I find a little damning about this is the very quickly you get the sense that she is not involved in his life at
Right.
all.
She just stay at home, and I mean, like, I don't see how he can keep, because okay, I guess it's a spoiler, but the thing is, the police come to her and it's like, look, your husband was involved with the murder victim, and not only that, he got fired because of that.
Yeah.
And she didn't know none of this.
Nothing.
It's like, how do you not know? And this dude is in a legal battle to try to keep his job, and you didn't know that with your friend as his lawyer. You didn't know that. I'm thinking like she's just at a point where she too stupid.
Yeah. I it's so weird because you're watching it and you get used to watching these kinds of shows, like they're gonna like sprinkle breadcrumbs or clues on,
Yeah.
you know, all over each episode. But having to watch someone else pick up the breadcrumbs and not notice that they're breadcrumbs, but they're lying all over the place is aggravating.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see somebody that clueless and find out, you know, as they find out. But it got to a point where I started to lose a little respect for her, only because you this clueless, something, you know, you just a dumb character that I can't root for because you too stupid.
And then she'll even like give these rather impassioned little speeches about, do you think that something like this could happen? And I would know.
Right.
Yes.
And she defended him and stuff. And
Oh, man.
Dude having an affair. Dude could have killed somebody. Dude disappeared. And I wouldn't be surprised if he could. He probably could have framed your ass for it.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, it's coming. It's probably coming.
Yeah. I mean, they probably found a murder weapon in her dresser drawer or some shit.
Like there's probably some text messages on her phone from the murder victim.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. But she found all this out, and you know, and then she tried to when she go back to, I don't know how this got all public, but she tried to go back to school and will take her son to school. And everybody's like, it's like nobody.
No one's on her side.
No, right.
Yeah.
The principal was like, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't come here no more.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just
have someone else drop your kid off and pick him up.
Yeah.
Like, just don't be seen on property.
Right. And I'm looking like, she's like, wait, I ain't got nothing to do with this. He's like, what? And nobody even want to hear it.
No. And that's the thing. Is like everyone treats her like an accomplice.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I was thinking, like, do y'all not think it's just the husband and she a victim too? That they feel like, nah, she in on it. You know what I'm saying?
It's
that's
like,
how they treat her.
Like, they're looking at her like, so where are you hiding your husband, huh?
Right.
Huh? Because we know you're hiding him. It's like, I didn't even know he had been fired. Come on now. Like, they look at her like she is the guiltiest person in this whole story.
Yeah, and right. So he's gone. Or he's disappeared. So, or he's hiding or whatever. But he's the lead suspect, and right now it all just everything point to him. So I'm thinking, me as the viewers, like, oh, he's guilty as hell. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then something happened at the end that make me think, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it still could be full of crap, but you know what? It's spoiler. Dude pop up at the end. He's telling me he pop up at the end. At the episode where we think she just thinking like, I don't know what the fuck. He pop at the end. It's like, I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it.
It's like the only thing that makes me believe him is that his explanation is so shoddy that it would have to be true. Like, if he had taken the time to come up with his explanation for why he didn't do it, it would have had to have been better. It's like, no, you don't understand. I did nothing. Okay, I did almost everything they said I did.
Oh, and not to mention that she got a newborn, and that newborn is probably his.
Probably.
And they going to get the paternity test on that, and they was like, yeah, we think it's his. And not just that, he admitted to her he had sex with her that night, and then he went back to
that timeline. The timeline. So,
man, dude, you going to jail, dude.
Whether he goes to jail or not, he's going to hell. Man, like, okay, so look, I told her it was over. We fought about it. We had sex. So I left. I came back to talk to her again. She was dead, right? So then I went home. I got in bed with you, and then we had sex.
This dude a piece of crap, dude. Like, dog, did you even wash off before you got back in bed?
I don't think he had time. I don't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He went straight and got in bed. And got with his wife, and I'm looking like, dude, if you're going to cheat, at least one wear a condom and then wash off.
Yeah.
I bet she didn't.
Cheat with class. Come on now. But
but look, this is the thing, like you said, the story sound, the only reason why I believe him, because it's so stupid, it's got to be true. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like... It's like you wouldn't come back and just say this and just make up a lie like that.
Exactly.
That's like saying when you wake up, you got the knife in your hand. I didn't do it. No, you look like you just did it, but the reason why I believe you because you can't be that stupid.
That's like, look. So I know the gun has my fingerprints on it, right? But here's what happened. So I fought the dude off after he shot him, but then he dropped his gun. So I picked up the gun and I was gonna shoot him with it, right? But then I
lock his ass up. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this review up, man. It was a good show. It's a good show because it's a murder mystery. Now we want to find out what happened, and I think as we go along, we're gonna see everything that got revealed that happened that night. And another thing, they had showed a flashback of something that happened earlier in the show, but it wasn't the exact same way. Yeah. So that maybe he's like, oh, do we have an unreliable narrator here?
That's what I'm thinking. We certainly have an unreliable narrator. I'm also thinking, and this is kind of maybe wishful thinking on my part, that maybe she had a disassociative episode and she's the one that did it.
Right. Oh, man, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because they keep on showing a lot of motifs of double, if you pay attention. Like they showed two of her in the mirror, and when she look at her reflection, oh, boy. I hope we didn't just figure this shit out, because that'd be so disappointing if this is an old split personality. That sounds like where it's going. Anyway,
Who
All right.
knows?
We just guessing. But anyway, that is our review for the Undoing season one,
Season
episode one and
one
two. So we're gonna move on to our next. We're gonna move on to our next review. We're gonna do Fargo episode 7. Fargo episode 7, season 4.